the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Burton Cummings brings the football back to the 39-yard line. Paul Bushy is there to make the tackle. That's where Winnipeg will scrimmage 1st and 10 after a 24-yard kickoff return.
Tom Burgess has got good field position starting from his own 40, and he's got some good weapons. But Darrell Rogers told us yesterday that if they have the running of Mims, then they're going to win this football game.
Robert Mims has had 9 100-yard games this season, and he expects to see the ball a lot this afternoon, although in the first play, Burgess is rolling to the sidelines and throwing complete to Eric Streeter over on the far side of the field, and there's a penalty flag. Eric Streeter took a hit as he was going out of bounds, and he threw the football at the Ticat player who knocked him out of bounds, and that resulted in the penalty flag. Dave Ewell, the official in charge this afternoon, and he'll explain the penalty for us.
Down. Objectionable conduct. Winnipeg number 80. First down.
That's Streeter reacting to what he interpreted as a late hit.
Actually, what Streeter thought was that he was hit out of bounds, but nevertheless, there's no room to do this. You can't hot dog it. You can't do something on your own. It doesn't show, but Streeter threw the ball back in the direction of the defender's face.
It was a first down. The penalty is tacked on. It's 1st and 10 from the 45-yard line. Burgess throwing to the sideline to Streeter again, and he's tackled on the far side of the field by Cora Irvin, the same combination that resulted in the penalty call in the previous play.
Well, they're one-on-one, and what Burgess is trying to do is got to get the ball outside to Streeter, and he thinks that'll open up things for Robert Mims, because Mims is their bread and butter. All the play action, all the things that they do offensively center around the ability of Mims to keep that defense in tight. Now Burgess will be able to sprint out around on play pass.
That was a gain of 8. It's 2nd and 2, Winnipeg. Robert Mims, the ball carrier. He was stopped at about the 54-yard line, very close to a first down. When Robert Mims rushes for 100 yards or better, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have a record of 8 and 1. When Mims does not pick up 100 rushing yards, Winnipeg has a record of 0 and 6. So I think that statistic emphasizes the importance of Robert Mims having a successful game.
And what it means is that their game plan works, because they want to rush Mims and get those consistent yards. They don't have to play catch-up.
Penalty flags as Tom Burgess keeps on 3rd and 1. He got to the midfield stripe, which should be enough for a first down. It's an offside call against Hamilton, so automatically the Winnipeg Blue Bombers pick up a first down. Darrell Rogers, in his rookie year as head coach of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, John Gregory took over the Hamilton Ticats partway through the season after David Beckman was fired.
Jeff Fields played a whale of a game last week. He's a 300-pounder. Pete Kostopoulos is the middle linebacker. He's got a key on Mims. He's the one that's got to stop him, and Todd Wiseman's got to keep that secondary under control. He's got to be able to direct them to stop that passing attack off the play action passes.
Darrell Rogers was telling us yesterday he was very impressed by what he witnessed on videotape over the past couple of games from this Hamilton defense. 1st and 10. The ball is at the Hamilton 51-yard line. Burgess dumping it off to Warren Hudson. He'll be close to a first down at the 41-yard line. Ryan Hilk was there to make the tackle. Warren Hudson primarily is used as a blocking back in the Winnipeg scheme. He hasn't seen the football as much as a pass receiver this year as he did in the past 2 seasons, particularly in the Grey Cup game last year, where he was one of the stars.
He's only had about 29 carries, I think, and very few receptions, but he is a big guy and he's got a lot of strength. He's somebody that helps a lot, blocking and running.
Well, Darrell Rogers said his blocking is exceptional, and he said in our scheme, when we try and get the ball to Robert Mims 25 times a game, there really isn't room for Warren Hudson to carry the football. 2nd and inches, Winnipeg. Robert Mims drives straight ahead, lugging the ball to the 36 of Hamilton, and that's a Winnipeg first down.
Robert Mims is always going to get the ball on those short yardage situations. They line up with 2 blocking backs, full house, 2 tight ends, and then they give the ball to Mims, and what Mims does is he just goes wherever there's a hole. He finds the open seam, and you can see, nice job of folding around for the block by David Black. What David Black did was he fold blocked, and that means that you go around your offensive line. It's like pulling, only it's on the front side.
Penalty flag on the play, a time count violation against Winnipeg. That takes the ball back to the 41. It will be 1st and 15 now. Tom Burgess, who did not start last week, but did come on in the second half in the win over the Toronto Argonauts, the starting quarterback today. Danny McManus started last week. He's been relegated to the number 3 position this week. Burgess throws to the sidelines. Rick House can't hang on. Rick House has been the Bombers' most dependable receiver this year, but he could not haul in the throw from Tom Burgess. House was being covered by Todd Wiseman.
Well, that play is just a play action, and the situation that House finds himself in is a void, so he breaks to the outside. There's nobody around him. He had a pass right into his hands. You won't see Rick House drop very many of those.
7 touchdowns so far this year. His best year in the CFL was when he had 10 in 1981. Grifo in the end zone, touchdown! Tom Burgess to Rob Grifo for the touchdown. And for Tom Burgess, his 22nd touchdown pass of the season.
One thing to be said about Tom Burgess is don't ever try to blitz him, because if he catches you coming down the middle, if he gives you the middle, you're going to have some success. And he put the ball perfectly to Grifo, and watch the reaction of Burgess. He's really happy with that. That's how you answer all the controversy that you have on your team. Score a touchdown.
Well, the way Winnipeg has opened this game, one would not believe that there were problems during the week. We'll be back with the Winnipeg kickoff after this. At 6'6", Rob Grifo provides a big target for the quarterback, and he got in behind Hamilton's defense, and Tom Burgess laid the football out perfectly for him. He actually had to break stride in the end zone and come back a little to grab the touchdown toss from Tom Burgess. Winnipeg leads by a score of 7-0. And Westwood's kickoff goes out of bounds at the 16-yard line. And Winnipeg will be asked to kick off again. Westwood taking over from Trevor Kennard. Kennard suffered an injury in September in a game against the Saskatchewan Roughriders right here at Winnipeg Stadium. What Westwood does give Winnipeg is more depth and better hang time. He has a stronger leg than Trevor Kennard, but isn't as accurate. Winnipeg trailing Toronto by 4, leading Ottawa by 4 in the battle for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in the East. Hamilton, with their worst record ever, destined to finish in last place. Quite a battle shaping up in the West. Edmonton, Calgary, and BC all still involved in that 3-way fight for 1st place. Wally Zatilny on the kickoff return, trying to get to the outside, and he's got a couple of blockers out there. Penalty flag in the play. James West makes the tackle, and there appears to be a holding call against Hamilton downfield. That will undoubtedly take it back. 21-yard return by Zatilny.
Wally used his blockers really well. Apparently one of the blockers was holding.
Holding, Hamilton number 85, 1st down.
The holding call against Richard Nurse. Todd Dillon with his first offensive series at quarterback for Hamilton.
Well, Todd Dillon takes over at his 39-yard line, and he looks for the running situation with Jamie Morris.
Dillon on his first play, throwing the pass, and it's intercepted. No, yes it is. It is picked off. It was deflected. Darrell Sampson has it. He'll score. 38-yard interception return for a touchdown. I think that Evans initially deflected that ball and may have made the interception. I thought he had dropped it, but he was pitching it off to Sampson, who returns it for the Major.
Well, you're right. Brown went outside, but watch Evans come up. That was Les Brown is wanted to tip the ball. Now Evans is trying to take it. Sampson caught the rebound, and he is long gone for the touchdown. And that lack of discipline on the kickoff didn't hurt them at all because they got the interception for the touchdown.
Point after by Westwood, and Winnipeg quickly jumps into a 14-0 lead with 10:46 still to play in this opening quarter.
Now, this is a very obvious tip drill that you do in practice. You tip the ball up and then you make your defenders react to it. But I cannot believe Bobby Evans didn't catch it, but that's okay, because Sampson was right there down the field, caught the rebound. That's really the third guy that touched the ball. That reminds me of a Grey Cup a couple of years ago.
Initially hit by Les Brown, and then Bobby Evans, and Darrell Sampson is the man who lugged it 38 yards into the end zone, his first interception of the season, and he carries it 38 yards for the Major score.
Sort of like volleyball, huh, Don? Well, Darrell Rogers' problems don't seem to be hurting the club on the field. You know, he was really concerned yesterday with how they would play, and you got a lot of older veterans. You got to worry about how they respond to something like this, and they've responded well.
The ball bounces to Morris, and he got there just in time. That ball bounced back towards the kicker. Troy Westwood didn't hit that one particularly deep, but with that bounce coming back towards the kicking team, it's 1st and 10. The ball is at the 26.
Well, there's Darrell Rogers, you know, and he was looking at a situation that he came into where Mike Riley was sort of a loose coach. You know, Mike was low-key. He didn't really have a lot of discipline to the way the practices were structured. And lo and behold, look who has to worry about the problems now, Darrell Rogers.
Todd Dillon throwing to Champion, and Champion has a gain of about 6 yards, brought down at the 32. Greg Battle came over to make the tackle from his linebacking position.
You talk about how many 100-yard rushing games Mims has. I think if you put Champion under a microscope, you'd see that when Tony Champion plays football and Todd Dillon is completing passes, they're going to win a lot of games. But Jamie Morris does a good job on the running attack as well.
On second down, the pass is complete for a first down to Steve Brown up close to the 40-yard line. Last week against Saskatchewan, Brown scored his first CFL touchdown on a pass from Todd Dillon.
Well, you know the key to this defense has to be the way Ty Jones and James West play after having all those problems with management this week. And, of course, how does Rod Hill respond to Tyrone Jones's accusations that maybe he's not the guy?
Dillon is throwing deep for Kenneth Brer. Over his head, incomplete. It will be 2nd and 10. Dillon does not have impressive numbers. He has thrown 8 touchdown passes this year, and he has now had 9 intercepted. Hamilton is last in 15 offensive categories, and Ticats had their problems prior to John Gregory taking over. Gregory has attempted to solve many of them, and he's getting them. Pass complete. Nick Mazzoli trying to break a couple of tackles, but he is stopped about 3 yards short of a first down by Rod Hill.
That's a great job of getting rid of the football. Todd Dillon was pressured. He got the ball off to Mazzoli, and Mazzoli showed some effort, nearly made the first down.
These teams in 2 previous engagements this year, July 13th, Winnipeg winning 23-9, August 16th, Winnipeg winning 25-24. Paul Osbaldiston missing a 56-yard field goal on the final play of the game. Burton Cummings moves up to take the punt on the dead run. There's a penalty flag. It could be that a Hamilton player was within that 5-yard area on a 32-yard. As well, the disruption on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of this week doesn't seem to have affected the Winnipeg Blue Bombers through the first 6 minutes of this football game as they lead 14-0, have the football 1st and 10 from their own 44-yard line. Harry Tuttle back in the lineup in motion across the formation. Burgess is forced out of there, gets the pass away to the far side of the field. Incomplete, intended for Rick Wood. Another ruling that he made the catch.
Well, the only ruling could be, Don, that he would have come back in bounds had the defender not pushed him out. That was a great reception.
So on the far side of the field, Rick House is credited with this reception.
Yeah, he drug his foot in. That's a good reception.
1st and 10 from the midfield stripe. Hand off to Robert Mims. And Mims is stopped as he gets to the Hamilton 51-yard line. That will be a pickup of 4. 2nd and 6. James West, one of the 2 players who walked out with the release of Dave Bavell on Tuesday.
Well, Bobby Dawson came up and made a great hit on Mims, and that's what West wants to do, is to get some good hits today. We're looking forward to seeing it.
2nd and 6. Burgess has his pass knocked down by Bailey. David Black was out in front trying to lead the blocking, but he couldn't pick up Bailey, who got through very quickly. Bailey has been impressive in the games he has played since being activated by the Ticats.
Just to show you what happens sometimes, that you're trying to throw that football, you cannot follow through. And when you get a big guy coming across like that, David Bailey did the job, but the guards pulled and hit each other. Both guards pulled in opposite directions, and that's not the way the play was drawn up. Dillon's telling him about it right now.
3rd and 6 as Bob Cameron stands at his own 45-yard line for this 3rd down punt. Ticats feel they might have some success in getting to a Bob Cameron punt. He had one blocked last week against Toronto for a touchdown. Mazzoli is decked as he attempted to make a move. Alfred Payton was the first in there to make the tackle, and Mazzoli had no opportunity for a return after a 38-yard kick.
Watch Alfred Payton. This guy has had 6 sacks this year. He's really an active guy, and he comes in and puts it right on him. I mean, you put your whole body in front of somebody, they're going to stop, particularly when you're as strong as Payton.
Alfred Payton out of Grambling, a fine rookie prospect this year with Winnipeg. He was with them at training camp and is in the role of designated import this afternoon. That pass simply slipped away from Todd Dillon as he attempted to throw. It will be 2nd and 10. Dillon has not had a good opening quarter, losing control of that football as he tried to throw it, and he had a pass intercepted on his first passing attempt for a 38-yard return by Darrell Sampson.
Yeah, he didn't get the that ball released. He tried to turn his wrist, but I think he's got some stickum on his hands.
6:30 remaining in the opening quarter. Rocky DiPietro is overthrown up near the 50-yard line. So it's 2 and out for the Hamilton Ticats, and that's the type of defense that Darrell Rogers will be very pleased with.
I think Dillon felt Quincy Williams coming in from the backside, and he let go of the ball with a little bit too much oomph on it. And sometimes your concentration's disrupted when you get good pressure. The linebackers are doing a good job out there.
Paul Osbaldiston stands in his end zone for this 3rd down punt. Matt Pierce takes the end-over-end kick at the Hamilton 46-yard line, and Winnipeg will have excellent field position for this offensive series. 1st and 10 from that point.
I think Darrell Rogers did a good thing. He didn't want to get his kicker in trouble, so they punted the last time, and now Troy Westwood is looking at probably a sure field goal if they don't lose any yardage.
Rogers was saying yesterday that one of his concerns about the disruption this week is that it does give a team a built-in excuse. However, that has certainly not been evident through the first 10 minutes of this football game. pass over the middle for Rick House. First down at the 18.
That's a perfect read. That was really a nice job by Burgess. He read the coverage. It was zone coverage. He took it right in front of the safety, Todd Wiseman. Todd came up and made a good hit, but that's too late.
24 yards. Burgess to Rick House, the gain for Winnipeg.
Good read and a good delivery of the ball just in time, and that's a nice catch by Rick House. I told you he wouldn't miss very many.
He is having a fine season. 7 touchdown receptions.
One of the reasons that these guys are playing so well, they got good people behind them. Crefo's ready to come in the ball game if House doesn't do it.
And Crefo has moved in. He scored the game's first touchdown. Over the middle, the pass complete to Eric Streeter, and Streeter dives to about the 11.
This worked off of that touchdown pass. Now, instead of throwing deep to Crefo, they let Streeter sneak in underneath in what they call a hide pattern. He came right over the center.
Streeter did not play last week against Toronto. He was missing from the lineup as a result of a bout of flu. And he has been a favorite target early in this football game for quarterback Tom Burgess. That's his 3rd reception. Pass complete to Warren Hudson. Touchdown. Well, if this is the effect that disruption during the week is going to have on a team, I think the other 7 CFL clubs might try and start something in their own locker room.
Well, don't suggest that. The general managers will go crazy. But this is what happens. He comes out with the fake. Watch what Dillon does, because they get this guy right here down for the touchdown. And all that is Mims drawing the fake. And Battle cleared. Battle was downfield. Jones came across. But that's a great play for the touchdown. Good play action pass on short yardage.
So Warren Hudson adds Winnipeg's 3rd touchdown. Troy Westwood the point after, and we'll be back with the Winnipeg kickoff.
Art, thanks for your time and good luck.
Thank you very much, Scott.
Jamie Morris on the kickoff return, and those involved with the Grey Cup festivities could only hope that they would have a day this good on the 24th of November for the Grey Cup game. A 16-yard run back after a 50-yard kickoff by Westwood.
What a beautiful day. And the people in the stands were telling us before the game it's going to be like this for Grey Cup.
Well, there is a chance it could be. There's also a chance it could be a lot worse. But that certainly won't dampen the enthusiasm of those involved. Todd Dillon keeps. There almost appeared to be a mix-up between Dillon and his running back, Jamie Morris.
Yeah, there definitely was. He wasn't expecting Morris to come over to the right side. All of a sudden, he sees Morris over here. He's, whoops, I can't get it over to him, so I'm just going to run with the ball. And, well, there's the landslide on top of him. I'm sure he told Morris about it in the huddle.
2nd and 10, Hamilton. 3:45 remaining in the opening quarter. The Ticats trailing 21-0. Jamie Morris, the ball carrier, and he picked up just a couple of yards. The ball comes loose. Winnipeg claim they've got it, and the officials agree. Mike Gray comes up with the football. The ball popped away from Jamie Morris. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers come up with it, and they have an opportunity to add to their 21-point lead in this opening quarter.
Now, Jamie Morris is running off tackle, and he breaks it back behind. And that ball is stripped loose by Joe. Well, it looked like 43 stripped. Quincy Williams stripped the ball loose, and Michael Gray picks it up and didn't run for a touchdown like he did last week.
1st and 10, Winnipeg. The ball is at the Hamilton 42-yard line. Good fake inside. Burgess going deep down the sidelines. Streeter, touchdown. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers, with still 3:12 remaining in this opening quarter, are turning it into an absolute rout.
Well, you don't want to blitz Burgess very often, and they had a halfback blitz on. Watch Streeter. That's a great pass. It's thrown up in the air with a lot of arch to it, and then Streeter just came back and took the ball for the touchdown. Burgess loves to see people blitz him because he's got straight man-to-man coverage, and that's when he's the best.
Well, this crowd that was anticipated being in the neighborhood of 27,000 certainly enjoying what they've witnessed in the opening quarter here at Winnipeg Stadium. Left-footed Troy Westwood adds the point after, and Winnipeg leads 28-0. The last two passes.
It's over on that backside. It's a blitz, and Burgess gets the ball off just in time. But that ball is perfectly thrown, and Eric Streeter played it all the way.
Streeter got in behind cornerback Cora Zervin and celebrates Winnipeg's 4th touchdown. A fine throw by Tom Burgess, who pays the price, taking a hit from linebacker John Moten just as he released. He'll take those hits when he can throw a touchdown pass.
Well, I'm sure he'll take that anytime. That's the greatest feeling in the world, to look downfield and to see your receiver play the ball perfectly for a touchdown.
2 turnovers have led to touchdowns. The interception by Darrell Sampson and the fumble recovery. Penalty flag in the play as Jamie Morris brings the kickoff back for Hamilton to the midfield stripe. But there's a penalty flag back at the 20-yard line. Steve Grant made the tackle on Morris after a 41-yard return, but I think this is going to be brought back as well.
Jamie Morris is running away from Ty Jones. And John Gregory's worked hard on special teams. He hasn't worked hard on penalties.
Illegal block. Hamilton, number 25. First down.
John's not very happy about starting on his own 19-yard line. That big penalty. That's a bad time to get a penalty on a good return out to the, well, actually across the midfield stripe.
If you're wondering about the 28 points Winnipeg has scored in this opening quarter, the CFL record for most points in one quarter, 38. Jamie Morris, the ball carrier, picking up a first down beyond the 35. In 1981, Edmonton scored 38 points in the second quarter against Montreal in a game on September 26th. Do you remember that one, Joe?
I was in Houston, Texas. Please don't put that one on me. This Whitman is always looking for a one to put on me here.
It was intended for champion on the sidelines. Rod Hill came up to defend against him. Dylan's throw was well over his head.
You know, Dylan just doesn't have any rhythm at all. He's not getting on his timing. He wasn't rushed as hard that time as I've seen him be rushed in the past by the linebackers. Randolph and Jones have been giving him good pressure, but he had time, and it just well over the champion's head.
John Gregory's game plan is to replace Todd Dillon to start the second quarter, regardless of what happened in the first. Pass complete to Ken Avrere, and Avrere is stopped shy of the 45-yard line. McPherson, in a game earlier this season against the Ottawa Rough Riders, replaced Todd Dillon after Dillon had a very strong opening quarter. But that was the preconceived plan of the Hamilton coaching staff then, as it will be again this afternoon.
Oh, this guy had great credentials coming out of Syracuse University. All-American, second in a Heisman Trophy ballot. He's quite a player.
Ball is Baldiston's third down punt with Matt Pierce pursuing it. He touches the football in the field of play and was fortunate to get it back. He thought that ball was going to bounce out of bounds, and when it bounced high, it bounced off Pierce, and that's a 51-yard punt for Paul Osbaldiston. Paul Bushy was down to prevent Pierce from getting any type of return.
I think Pierce wanted to knock it out of bounds, Don, but it didn't go, and that could have been really dangerous.
This is the worst field position Winnipeg has had all day. The Bombers are backed up to their own 12-yard line. Burgess has already thrown 3 touchdown tosses. He's completed 9 of 11.
I think we're going to see Mr. Mims a lot from now on.
And it is Mims carrying the football and running well up to the 20-yard line. He'll have a gain of 8. Stopped by John Moten. It will be 2nd and 2, and Tom Burgess is calling for the short yardage offense. We're into the final minute of the opening quarter. Winnipeg leading Hamilton 28-0. The Bombers still have ideas about catching Toronto for first place in the East, but for Winnipeg to finish ahead of the Argos, they would require help from teams that still have to play Toronto this season. Calgary tomorrow, a game we'll have for you on CBC television. Hamilton and Ottawa. On second down, Mims is tripped up short of the first down. Winnipeg will be forced to send out the punting unit.
That's a good surge by the defensive line of Hamilton, and they got some big guys in there.
Don McPherson, 6'1", 190 pounds, warming up. He'll be coming into the ball game to take over from Todd Dillon to start the second quarter. And he might get the football in pretty good field position because Bob Cameron stands at his own 5-yard line for this third down punt, and Mazzoli is waiting for it at his own 50. This ball hits a Hamilton player. It's recovered by Winnipeg.
There may be a no yards penalty as well. So
it hit the Winnipeg player, so it will be a no yards call against the Blue Bombers, even though they did recover the football.
That was a kick against the wind. The kicking team has to be ready for those.
No yards. Winnipeg number 85, first down.
Yeah, that's what it is. But your kicking team, we were talking to Thomas Balderson about the wind and the way it affects the ball, and he said the punting team, they have to find the ball once it's kicked when the wind is like it is today. They didn't do it.
Just 8 seconds remaining in the opening quarter, and Don McPherson has taken over at quarterback. He had an earlier game in September against the Ottawa Roughriders where he came on in the second quarter replacing Todd Dillon, and the Hamilton Ticats are following the same format this afternoon against Winnipeg.
He didn't show great passing ability in that game, but he did show that he had mobility. He can run with the football as well.
The game he replaced Dillon was at Iberwin Stadium on the 14th of September, and Tyrone Jones wraps up McPherson at the 40-yard line, dropping him 4 loss. And that should be the final play of the opening quarter. Way for McPherson to start a football game, throwing for a 9-yard loss, but he comes back and completes the pass to Tony Champion, but he is stopped well short of a first down by James West, among other Winnipeg defenders who were in on the tackle. McPherson heads to the sidelines as Paul Osbaldiston will come in to attempt a field goal.
Well, we look for silver lining. At least he got them back into field goal position. The net on that drive was minus about 3 yards, but now they got a chance for Ozzie to make a little difference up in that big point spread.
Field goal try from the 39-yard line. Penalty flag on the play. Osbaldiston's kick is good. But there was a penalty flag at the line of scrimmage.
Looked like Rod Hill jumped.
An offside call really won't make much difference. It was against Winnipeg, but it will be declined.
Winnipeg number 10, declined. Field goal's good.
Even had Hamilton taken the penalty, they would have still been looking at 3rd and about 8. So they settle on the 3 points regardless. Winnipeg all over Hamilton in the opening quarter. 2 turnovers by the Ticats. One leading directly to a touchdown by Darrell Sampson, the other in just a couple of plays following Michael Gray's fumble recovery. Winnipeg leading 28-3 to start their first offensive series of the second quarter. Hand off to Robert Mims, and Mims fights his way out to the 42-yard line.
Well, you get Bob Molly and Steve Rodahuskis coming up to lead the play. That's a tough assignment for anybody to stop Mims because he's got a lot of humanity out in front of him. Good job by Molly. Rodahuskis came through. Looked around for somebody to block. Good
Chris
offensive
Walby
line.
and Lyle Bauer, according to the coaching staff, have been Winnipeg's most consistent offensive linemen this season. On second down, Burgess looking to throw. He made a side to run, but he won't get a first down. He loses the ball. And the Ticats have recovered at the 41-yard line. That was the line of scrimmage. It looks as though David Bailey may have been there to pounce on the football, and he comes up with it.
Give that all to Jeff Fields, because Jeff Fields had to play off of the block. 300-pounder. I mean, this guy is a load. Watch what he does. He plays off the block. He strips the ball when he makes the tackle, pulls it loose. Jeff Fields used to play soccer. That's a big soccer player.
He's a big man, but he has been very impressive at that nose guard position since being activated by the Ticats. Jamie Morris picks up just a couple of yards and then is driven back by James West.
Yeah, this Fields has been very impressive. When you put a guy like that on your center, that's the center has to snap the ball. He's got to call the offensive line blocks, and then he's got to block a 300-pounder. You're giving the center a lot of work to do.
6'3", 300 pounds. Jeff Fields from Arkansas State. The Ticats have been very pleased with his play thus far. McPherson rolling to his right. A low throw on the far side of the field. Are they ruling a catch? No, they're saying incomplete. Champion, the intended receiver, the ball bounced in front of him. Champion attempted to convince the officials that he had made the catch by holding the football high, but he took it on a hop.
Yeah, the official was right there, and he saw it was a grounder.
So Paul Osbaldiston comes into the football game for his second field goal try of this second quarter. His previous attempt from 39 yards. This will be a 45-yard effort. 12:23 remaining in the second quarter. Kick is good. And the Hamilton Ticats have reduced the deficit to 22 points. We'll be back right after this.
Turnover that led to the Osbaldiston field goal. Ticat defenders told me before they headed onto the field there is no complicated reason for what went wrong in the first quarter. It's just they weren't getting pressure on Tom Burgess the way they did on Kent Austin in last week's victory over Saskatchewan. One of them said if they didn't get that sort of pressure, they'd be lucky to hold the Bombers under 50. Mind you, Don, the Bombers were on a 100-point pace in the first quarter of this game.
You didn't really think they were going to hit 100, did you, Scott? But the way things have gone this week in Winnipeg, one never knows. It has been a strange week with this Winnipeg football team, to say the least. Larry Willis goes wide left, 1st and 10 Winnipeg from the 35-yard line. Streeter to the right. Burgess throwing the hitch screen incomplete. It was intended for Willis. It will be 2nd and 10. Winnipeg had success with that hitch screen when James Murphy was playing the wide-out position. They used to run that very effectively with Tom Clements throwing primarily to James Murphy.
Oh, Murphy used to love that play. The thing you have to be careful of is to make sure the ball is thrown in front of the quarterback, because otherwise it would be a lateral and the defense can pick it up as a fumble recovery.
2nd and 10 from the 35-yard line. Burgess gets away from one tackle. He was very close to the line of scrimmage before throwing to Rob Griefel. As a matter of fact, it almost looked as though he was up beyond the 35-yard line, and there is a penalty flag. I think Burgess was a good 2 strides beyond the 35 before being released, and that's what the call is.
Yeah, he did a good job getting around Joe Campbell, but it's illegal.
Illegal forward pass. Quarterback was over the line of scrimmage. Winnipeg number 13. 2nd down repeated.
So with the penalty tacked on, the ball goes back to the 25-yard line, and it will be 2nd and 20 now. Watch Burgess come up. He comes up to the 35. He's beyond the 35 when he throws the ball. 11:36 remaining in the second quarter. Winnipeg, 2nd and 20. Burgess rolling to his left behind the blocking of Molly, throwing deep for Willis. He's caught and hauled down, but not before he gets to the 22. Gary Wilkerson made the tackle. A 62-yard gain. Burgess to Larry Willis. And Willis is down.
Looks like he got hurt on that play, got tackled from behind, but Terry Wright should have come over to the deep. They're rolling up. It's a cloud coverage. Wilkerson doesn't have the deep responsibility, but he doesn't get any help from Terry Wright. So he comes by. That's great speed by Gary Wilkerson. He doesn't expect to be all alone out there. He thought he was going to get some help over there, and it just didn't happen.
Well, it would seem that the only thing hurt with Larry Willis may be his pride, as he felt he could win that foot race to the end zone, but he was caught by Wilkerson, although he is now heading to the sidelines and limping as he makes his way over to the Bomber bench.
That's amazing for Wilkerson to come and catch him from behind, but look what he did. He grabbed his instep and probably hyperextended that ankle.
Well, when Willis maneuvered in behind the corner, he probably didn't think he was going to be caught as he headed for the end zone. He was signed as a free agent by Winnipeg, started the year, then was off the roster for a number of games, and was just recently reactivated by Coach Darryl Rogers. He produces a 62-yard gain. 1st and 10 Winnipeg. The ball is at the 24. Burgess is hit as he tries to throw, and it goes incomplete. He was looking into the end zone for Perry Tuttle.
They were trying to come on a blitz. They had a free safety blitz coming from the outside. You can see him come in, and he really gets a hit on Burgess. What they're trying to do is just give some pressure to Burgess, but watch at the top of the screen, the free safety all the way in, Terry Wright, and he just knocks the ball up in the air.
2nd and 10 Winnipeg. The ball is actually at the 23 of Hamilton. Burgess into the end zone looking for Streeter, incomplete. He was being covered by Corus Irvin.
Good coverage. Both Corus Irvin and Bobby Dawson stayed right on their men, and there wasn't any, the only place that Burgess could have gone is to run the ball himself. There wasn't anybody open.
I've never been able to figure out whether that's Buzz or Boomer, nor do I really care.
I can remember one of them had a problem in BC Place, Don. The fan jumped out of the stands and knocked Buzz down.
You're sure it was Buzz?
I'm sure it was Buzz. Buzz is the big guy.
A 30-yard field goal attempt by Westwood. It's good. And the Winnipeg Blue Bombers now lead 31-6, but there are penalty flags as there's an altercation following that successful field goal. David Bailey was the principal participant in that skirmish following the Westwood field goal, and he has been ejected from the football game. A disqualification. John Gregory trying to restrain him. Some of his teammates coming over to keep him away from the officials as well, but Bailey has already been ejected from the football game. A disqualification and an additional penalty is tacked on for comments he continues to make as he is escorted to the dressing room. But that occurred on the field goal by Troy Westwood, and John Gregory is unhappy with the penalty call that has been assessed and also with the disqualification. So Winnipeg will be kicking off from the 40-yard line of Hamilton.
Chris Walby is right here. David Bailey tried to jump up over him, and when Chris Walby cut him, he cut down on his legs. That's when Bailey retaliated. Watch Bailey jump up with his arms up. Now Walby cuts him low. And David Bailey didn't like that, so he started to swing. And when you retaliate, you're always going to get caught.
Winnipeg kicking off from the Hamilton 40-yard line, 25 yards on the disqualification. There was another penalty, a 10 yards objectionable conduct call, resulting in 35 yards in all being added on. Westwood just trying to pooch that one, a short kickoff attempt intended for Rod Hill, and it was grabbed by Rocky DiPietro, who takes it out of bounds at about the 22.
Good place for Rocky DiPietro, right on that corner, because that's where the mistakes are made sometimes. You get a veteran like DiPietro, you know you're okay. Hey, we thought going into this game that Winnipeg was having problems. Now it's John Gregory trying to get all of the problems settled down. My, oh my, how it happens on the field sometimes.
Following this afternoon's game, Toronto will visit Hamilton on October 27th, and then Hamilton will conclude the season at BC on November the 2nd. The pass is complete to Ken Abraire. Abraire trying to get away from Bobby Evans, stays on his feet and gets a first down out to the 34-yard line. Andrew Thomas, who is playing safety, made the tackle. Chris Walby, affectionately known as Bluto by his Winnipeg Blue Bomber teammates.
Well, they don't call him Bluto because he's a small guy either, and if you're going to fight with somebody, there's probably a million other guys around. I'd pick the kicker or somebody like that if I wanted to retaliate. He's fixing his nail. I can't believe this.
The sideline man's here. Draw play with Morris, and Morris will pick up about 3 yards with 8:58 remaining in the first half. Winnipeg leading 31-6.
Well, they need to get some effort like Aver had on that last play and Morris had on this play. They got to get back in the ball game and just settle down and play their game.
Second down play, penalty flags. McPherson goes down back at the 29-yard line. Tyrone Jones made the tackle. Is it procedure or offside?
Procedure. Hamilton number 58, third down.
Jason Riley moving out of his stance prior to the football being snapped. Riley, a former member of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. He also played in the West with the Saskatchewan Roughriders before moving on to the Hamilton Ticats.
Sometimes those offensive linemen will actually jerk their arm and try to get the defense to move offside. If the official sees it, he'll call them.
As Baldiston's kick bounces to Matt Pierce at the 35-yard line. Paul Bushy, who...
Well, Darryl Rogers is probably not too concerned with off-field turmoil right now. The way his Bombers have been playing, he's pretty happy.
There's another penalty flag on the play.
Holding. Winnipeg number 60, first down.
A holding call against Winnipeg, Dave Van Conant. And that takes the ball back to the Winnipeg 26-yard line, where it will be 1st and 10.
They got a nice job on that kick coverage, plus they got the holding call, so Bushy and Zeidel, they made a big play for the Ticats.
Tom Burgess with 3 touchdown passes in the opening quarter this afternoon. He now has 24 for the season. Last year, he fired 25 touchdown passes in his best year ever. Robert Mims, the ball carrier, beyond the 30-yard line, stopped by Jeff Fields. Tim Lorenz has come in to play defensive end for Hamilton with the disqualification of Bailey.
Yeah, Lorenz is a good ball player. He's had a couple sacks this year, and when he has had the opportunity, he's played well. Ty Jones, he's played pretty well today.
Second and 5, the draw play. Robert Mims breaks one tackle, and he'll be very close to a first down at the 37.
Joe Campbell missed him. He had a good shot at him. If it's not for Hudson on the block with Peter Koftopoulos, they're not going to make this first down.
Mims, one of 4 this year who has gone over 1,000 yards. He had 1,535 coming into the game, and here's the key block by Warren Hudson on Giftopoulos. And according to Coach Darryl Rogers, Hudson had an outstanding blocking game last week in the win over Toronto. Penalty flag on the play as Mims is caught by Tim Lorenz and then continues to struggle up close to the 43-yard line. And there's a pushing, shoving duel further upfield. It involves Corus Irvin and Eric Streeter. There is a penalty flag on that incident as the pushing and shoving with Robert Mims was finally halted up at the 44. But
on both teams, rough play, disqualification, Winnipeg number 80, Hamilton number 4 for fighting. Second down.
Well, that's the 3rd disqualification we have witnessed this afternoon. David Bailey, the first to go out of the game. Now Eric Streeter and Corus Irvin are tossed out. And this is the reason why.
Yeah, there must have been some pretty tough contact prior to what we saw, because we didn't see an awful lot.
So the Ticats are now really hurting defensively, as they have had 2 players tossed out. Corus Irvin goes out. David Bailey ejected earlier. Winnipeg's Eric Streeter is out. Tim Lorenz is playing Bailey's defensive end position. Ricky Royal will come in to take Corus Irvin's spot on the corner.
Well, Ricky Royal's a good ball player. It won't hurt them as much on the corner, but it does hurt for penalties to get out of hand like they have been.
Perry Tuttle moves to the wideout position, replacing Streeter, and Rob Crefo moves into Tuttle's slot back position. Second down pass to Rick House, just over his head, and he took a hit over the middle from Terry Wright as he was reaching for that football.
That's what you have to do. When you get that ball coming across the middle, you got to let people know you're there, and Terry Wright said hello.
Rick House appears to be in some pain and discomfort as he makes his way to the bench. It was a high throw, and at the last moment he saw Wright coming at him, and Wright flattened the Winnipeg slot back, and he is hurt. Third down punt by Bob Cameron. Nick Mazzoli waits for it at the 25-yard line, dodges a couple of tacklers, gets away from another, and then is stopped.
5 at the half, and so will Adam Rita, the head coach of the Toronto Argonauts, whose team plays Calgary tomorrow afternoon at Skydome. We'll find out.
Well, it was a very difficult week for both those gentlemen. Cal Murphy on the right, the president of the football team, Ted Bartman to the left of the picture. But I would suggest both are very pleased with what they have seen through the first half. Tyrone Jones has played a key role defensively. Winnipeg's offense has been in gear, leading 31-6. Jamie Morris will pick up about 6 yards. There is another penalty flag on the play. Another procedure call against the Ticats, so the Winnipeg Blue Bombers will ask the official, Dave Ewell, to mark off the 5 yards.
Hamilton, number 17. First down repeated.
Ken Avrere was guilty of the procedure call. That takes the football back to the 27.
That's the problem when you have another quarterback in there that you're not used to. His cadence is different than the one that you're used to.
Steve Brown wide to the left. McPherson throwing over the middle, and the pass is complete to Tony Champion, and Rod Hill is on him immediately.
Well, this is a quick pass, so what has to happen on that is that Champion had to cut it off, and when Champion cut the ball off, he only made about 6 yards, but that's not a bad pickup.
Don McPherson, the quarterback, he took over at the start of the second quarter. Not because Todd Dillon was struggling, which he was, but it was a pre-planned move. McPherson runs the ball up to midfield for a Hamilton first down.
That's what we talked about, Don, was the ability of McPherson to run with the football. He did that at Syracuse. He ran the option plays. He was able to scramble. Ty Jones comes upfield, but watch McPherson pull the ball down, gets a little bit of a block by Jamie Morris, and he's off. Smooth athlete.
First and 10, Hamilton. The ball is at midfield. Champion goes wide to the right. Steve Brown left. Ty Jones trying to get at him from the backside. The pass is intercepted by Greg Battle. Battle loses the football. It's picked up by Randolph, but the official rules that Battle was down at the 48.
Greg Battle, what a football player. I mean, we saw what he did last year in a Grey Cup. This guy has made 80 tackles this year, and he's been in there on interceptions. That's a heck of a job right here. 75 games in a row this guy has played, Greg Battle, and he plays short yardage tight end. He looked like a tight end on that play.
Battle with an interception, lugging the ball back to the 48-yard line. First and 10, Winnipeg.
That's the way to block Ty Jones. Let him go where he wants to go and then throw him down.
Mims, the ball carrier, trying to move up the middle. He runs into Jeff Fields. and doesn't get much more than a couple of yards. Greg Battle consistently has been Winnipeg's best defensive player this year. Strangely enough, Battle is the only Winnipeg linebacker who doesn't have a quarterback sack this year.
Well, I think that's because he's so good at coverage. That guy doesn't have any sacks either, huh?
But he should be sacked. Burgess throwing over the middle, incomplete. It was intended for Perry Tuttle at the 40-yard line. Tuttle, with the ejection of Streeter, has been moved to a wideout position, a spot that the former Clemson star feels much more comfortable in than at slot back.
I don't think Perry Tuttle was real happy about that play. He looked like he wasn't expecting the ball, and then when it did come to him, it was a little bit too late to react.
3:24 remaining in the half. Bob Cameron comes out. He'll be kicking from his own 37. Mazzoli is the lone man back. He takes it at the 27. Mazzoli earlier this year had a 74-yard punt return for it.
Well, Tuttle's got to play wide out, and that's not the position where he's gotten the most practice. I think he'd rather be inside.
He's back in the lineup after missing 6 games as the result of broken ribs suffered in the game against Saskatchewan. Morris loses the football, gets it back, but attracts a crowd, and it's a big loss back to the 26-yard line. 2:51 is the time remaining in the half. Winnipeg leads by 25. Let's have settled down after that 28-point Winnipeg explosion in the first 12 minutes of the opening quarter. 31-6, Winnipeg leads with 2:51 remaining in the half. Don McPherson at quarterback, 2nd and 20. McPherson forced out of the pocket, gets away from Mike Gray, being pursued by Tyrone Jones, and then ducks as Greg Battle came over to make the tackle, and Hamilton is forced to send out the punting unit.
Well, that first down play didn't help. Watch Greg Battle come up. I mean, he plays it perfectly. He drops to his zone. Then when McPherson starts to run, he came up and made the tackle, giving him 10 yards less than what he really wanted.
Paul Osbaldiston stands back at his 22-yard line for this 3rd down punt. At halftime, remember, Scott Oak will be talking with the coach of the Toronto Argos, Adam Rita, and we'll have that game tomorrow between the Toronto Argos and the Calgary Stampeders from the Sky Dome. Burton Cummings thrown down by Wally Zatilny back at the 10-yard line. On the sidelines, let's join Scott Oak.
Well, Don, when last heard from, distinguished veteran Bomber kicker Trevor Kennard had broken some minor bones in his back and is hoping to be back in time for the playoffs. That's the injury update. I hope you don't mind that I've done it. I want to ask you if you think your teammates who are rolling over the Ticats are making some sort of statement related to the controversy of this week.
Well, Scott, minor bones to you maybe, not to me. I really believe that after the meeting we had yesterday, we came out of that meeting exhilarated, and I felt like I could hit a football 90 yards. And at 31-6, I think you're seeing the enthusiasm of this club.
Okay, Trevor, thanks for your time. And of course, Don, we'll get the thoughts of Cal Murphy on Live at the Half on this very issue.
Tom Burgess throwing for Larry Willis. He can't make the catch up at the 50-yard line. He was battling with Ricky Royal, trying to get into position to haul in the Tom Burgess throw.
Got to give Bob Molly some credit. He's a pulling guard, and he got out and gave Burgess all the protection he needed. And can you believe Willis actually got a hand on this thing? Not bad, but Ricky Royal wouldn't let him catch it.
2nd and 10, Winnipeg. The Bombers are back at their 11-yard line. Larry Willis with an earlier reception for 62 yards. He was injured on the play, but obviously he is okay as he is back in the lineup. Penalty flag as it's dumped off to Robert Mims. And Mims is up beyond the 20-yard line, very close to a first down. Penalty call appears to be against Hamilton. A face mask violation it is. Ricky Royal may have been the guilty party.
Major foul, face mask, Hamilton number 26, first down.
It was Royal as he was covering Larry Willis.
Yeah, they're having a lot of contact out there. Royal doesn't believe it. He went over to talk to the officials, but it doesn't matter now. It's already been called.
The injured Winnipeg player appears to be Bob Molly. 2:05. The draw play with Robert Mims. And Mims is going to be stopped at the 44-yard line with 1:58 remaining in the first half. Brian Hilk, number 44, made the tackle.
The big thing on that ball carrier's play was the blocking of the guard who went in for Molly. The guard went in for Molly, and as he folded around, he made the big block for Benjamin. Nick Benjamin, watch him come up, make a good block here, and then Mims made the break to the outside. That really helped him.
Mims, the ball carrier again. And he picks up a first down, and credit Robert Mims with getting that on his own. The thumb of Bob Molly is causing concern at the Winnipeg bench.
Sometimes those thumbs will get caught in someone else's pad. They'll get caught in a face mask or in the helmet, and puts a lot of pressure on it. Usually linemen have their hands taped up better than what Molly has, but he's a wrestler. He doesn't need it. He's a tough guy.
1st and 10 Winnipeg. The ball is at the 47-yard line. 1:17 remaining in the half. Burgess throws for Crefo. He can't make the catch. Bobby Dawson came over to defend against Crefo. That throw was a little beyond the reach of Crefo. Even had he brought it down with his 6'6" height, he would have been out of bounds.
Crefo's trying to settle in between the zones when they're rolling up like that, but that ball is pretty tough to catch out of bounds. Probably didn't have a good shot at it where in the position he was. Had he settled down a little sooner, he would have had a reception.
2nd and 10 from the 47. Here comes the pressure, and down goes Burgess. Brian Hilk, Pete Giftopoulos, and Jeff Fields all came charging through as quarterback Tom Burgess is dropped back at the 38-yard line.
Good job by the inside linebacker blitz, but I'll tell you what helps that inside linebacker blitz. You get a guy like Jeff Fields, he can tie up some people. That freed up the linebackers, and then Fields comes in to clean it up. Good blitz.
Hilk and Giftopoulos both getting to quarterback Tom Burgess, who had a great opening quarter with 3 touchdown passes.
I'm surprised they're not running a little bit more often. Got a big lead. I thought Mims would have a great day today.
3rd down punt by Bob Cameron. Mazzoli waits for it at the 35. A penalty flag. Mazzoli with a couple of good moves, and he brings it back to the Winnipeg 52. Tackled by Paul Randolph. He doesn't need much of an opening. Mazzoli will squirt through if given the chance, and he almost got away, but an illegal block is assessed against Hamilton after that 22-yard return. Let's join Scotto.
Don, the word on Bob Molly is that his thumb was temporarily dislocated. It popped out. He popped it back in, but the Bomber medical staff is not entirely sure that he hasn't broken it, so it could be the game for the veteran offensive lineman.
Bob Molly out. Nick Benjamin has taken his place offensively.
Want some air time?
Draw play with Jamie Morris, and Morris will get just a couple of yards before being stopped. Bobby Evans came up from his defensive half position to assist on the tackle. 48 seconds remaining. Pass complete to Champion on the far side of the field. A first down at the 42.
This is an important series for McPherson because the coaches are going to look at him to see if he can direct the club in the 3-minute offense. Watch McPherson, Ty Jones scrambling on the ground. There's the 2 linebackers. And Ty Jones scrambled on the ground. Wild West came in to clean him up. Those are the 2 guys that have done a lot of talking this week, and so far they're backing it up with their playing.
Draw play with Morris. Not much running room. Winnipeg is the #1 defensive team in the league in a number of categories. They are first or second in 15 different defensive categories, and much of it the result of the play of their linebackers.
They've got excellent linebackers, good backup linebackers as well.
Pass is complete to Richard Nurse. Another Hamilton first down at midfield with 34 seconds remaining in the half.
We talked about Peyton early, and they got Randolph, good young linebackers.
In the hurry-up offense on the far side of the field, intended for champion, incomplete. Rod Hill was defending against him. Still 28 seconds remaining. That play consumed just 6 seconds on the clock.
Champion makes a good cut, and he's open, but that ball is way outside.
The ball at midfield. The clock will not start until the ball is snapped. McPherson's pass for DiPietro. He could not one-handed. He had to reach back. But the CFL's all-time leading pass receiver couldn't bring that one in. He has made a career total of 702 receptions. I was talking to him yesterday and asked if he'll be back next year. He said he really is uncertain about next season.
He wished he had that ball thrown a little bit closer to him. He would have had a nice reception in a big game.
McPherson is flushed out of the pocket, trying to run for a first down. He'll be close. Depending upon the spot, it looks as though they're going to position the ball around the 46-yard line, and if that's the case, he will be short.
That's the thing that's so hard to determine. Did his knee hit first, or did the... He did it with a knee.
He is short, and that's the 4th turnover of the football game by the Ticats. John Gregory must have felt he was running into an open switch in the opening quarter when Winnipeg scored 3 touchdowns on their first 4 possessions.
He was almost a prophet. He said, yeah, I know about turmoil. You know what turmoil does sometimes? It really gets the other team going. He said, don't tell me that they're having turmoil.
16 seconds remaining in the half. Burgess rolling to his right, looking for Willis. He's got him.
Well, Burgess came outside, and he had Nick Benjamin at 265 pounds and Chris Walby at about 300 pounds protecting him. He had all day to throw.
1st and 10. The ball is at the 50-yard line with 10 seconds remaining. Will Burgess go for the end zone, or will they get it into position for Troy Westwood to attempt a field goal? Burgess is forced to run the ball, and he goes down at the 43 and calls a timeout with 4 seconds remaining.
Smart quarterbacking. That's smart quarterbacking. It looked like the playoff finals last year when Burgess decided to run late in the ball game to defeat Toronto. He's got him in field goal range.
There's a penalty on the play, a face mask call.
Face mask, Hamilton number 26. First down.
That's the 2nd time that Royal has been called for face masking, and both times it was against Winnipeg wideout Larry Willis.
Bad penalty. This is a sure 3 points now. He's got him down in the 27-yard line. So that was really a smart play by Burgess.
Royal coming into the ball game. He was the DI replacing Corey Thurman. Of 34-6, you would expect the Bombers to also have the edge statistically, and their Winnipeg 4-6, you would expect the Bombers to also have the edge statistically, and their Winnipeg touchdown a couple of plays later. Hamilton, 8 yards so far in the game. Troy Westwood preparing to kick off for Winnipeg. Morris waits for it and takes it at the 25-yard line. Jamie Morris stays on his feet all the way to the 54, and that's where Hamilton will scrimmage. 1st and 10. And Don McPherson is going to continue at quarterback after that 27-yard return by Jamie Morris.
All of that work that John Gregory has had on special teams, it's starting to show. They're doing a good job on their returns, both kickoff and punt.
Fake inside. McPherson throwing over the middle. Oh, it was almost intercepted by Michael Allen. The safety will probably confess after this game that he should have had that one.
Oh, sometimes the hardest ball to catch is that one that's right in your hands. I think he's looking for a Rivera coming over, and it's just high, too high. Watch Ty Jones do a spin move off of Gurrell. He takes him over backwards.
2nd and 10. Person throwing over the middle again. Zatilny on the receiving end of the throw. And there is a penalty flag back at the line of scrimmage, and it's a holding call apparently against Hamilton.
Holding. Hamilton, number 66. 2nd down repeated.
Miles Gurrell guilty of the holding call. So that wipes out a gain on the pass from McPherson to Zatilny and takes the football back to the 42.
Quincy Williams coming in, and Miles just takes him for a ride.
The ball pops away from McPherson. It's picked up by Ty Jones, but they rule an incomplete pass. Ty Jones also hit the Hamilton quarterback, but the officials ruled that McPherson was in the process of throwing when the ball popped away.
Look at Jones. He gets a good start, and then he comes all the way around Jamie Morris. It looked like he got a good piece of the shoulder and then knocked that ball loose. But if that hand comes forward, the referee has to rule it an incomplete pass.
A couple of young fans among the 27,127 at Winnipeg Stadium this afternoon. Pressure coming up the middle. Rod Hill trying to get to that kick by Osbaldiston. Great battle, grabs it. A very alert play by the Winnipeg linebacker as he had about 3 Hamilton downfield tacklers inside that 5-yard area. No chance for a return after a 31-yard kick by Osbaldiston.
No yards. Hamilton, number 33. Bounce back rule, 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
The ball will be scrimmaged 1st and 10 from the 41-yard line.
Because they were in front of us.
I got the sense that Darryl Rogers went through a lot this week, and I think he's relieved to see this game being played.
I think all those associated with the Winnipeg football team are somewhat relieved to see the way the team is performing. Robert Mims carries the ball out beyond the 45-yard line. John Moten made the tackle.
You know, Mims can carry on so many different things. This is a trap field, 30, 40 yards. So he can move, but pass protection sometimes is a little tough when you get heavy.
Tom Burgess this afternoon has thrown more to his wideouts than the slot backs, which is somewhat unusual for Burgess. Warren Hudson on the draw play, looking for the 1st down and should have it. Burton Cummings comes into the ball game. Matt Pierce goes out. First and 10. The ball is at the 51-yard line. Larry Willis wide to the right. Cummings wide left. Tuttle back at a slot back position. Burgess is going to run it. And he gets all the way to the 40 of the Ticats. Bobby Dawson was there to make the tackle. A 19-yard run by Tom Burgess. Pete Giftopoulos initially missed him.
I think Burgess is trying to outrun Robert Mims today. He put his shoulder down. He broke a tackle. That's a good pickup. And it puts them in field goal range already.
11:47 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Matt Pierce has now replaced Burton Cummings as a wideout. Pass over the middle intended for Perry Tuttle. Incomplete. It will be 2nd and 10. 3 players in the first half were ejected from the ball game. 2 of them wearing the colors of the Ticats. The bigger man, David Bailey, and Cora Irvin, who plays the cornerback spot. Bailey, a defensive end. He was involved in an altercation with Chris Walby. Irvin was slugging it out with Winnipeg receiver Eric Streeter, who also got the boot. 2nd and 10 Winnipeg from the 40-yard line. Willis was the target on the sidelines. He was underthrown. It will be 3rd and 10, and there is more pushing and shoving back at the line of scrimmage. Chris Walby, who was involved in that earlier altercation with David Bailey, appears to be one of the principals. When you take a look at those forearms and the development on the biceps, would you argue with that, boy?
I'll tell you what, I would tell him to go argue with about a 500-pound bench press, not worry about me. Pick up the bench press, and let's see what you can do, Chris.
Low snap to Bob Cameron. There was no rush coming, and he was able to field it and get the kick away. Mazzoli lost control of it. Winnipeg gets it. There are no penalty flags. It's a Winnipeg touchdown. Nick Benjamin is the man who appeared to come up with the football.
When you think about where that football came from, it bounced off the ground. Cameron kicked the ball, and we heard from Osbaldiston that that wind coming off the north stands makes a lot of difference. But look what happens. You can't try to field the ball if you're not sure where it is. He should have caught it on the catch. Mazzoli had a problem handling it.
Nick Benjamin recovered and rolled into the end zone for the major score. Troy Westwood adds the point after. So the Blue Bombers add to their lead with 11:01 remaining in the 3rd quarter. The Winnipeg.
He's also general manager of the Grey Cup Festival Committee. Leo, with Winnipeg doing so well in this game, I'm sure people are thinking Grey Cup for this team. What would the home team being in the Cup mean to the Festival Committee?
Well, you can hear the enthusiasm now. Winnipeg hasn't scored these many points in a number of games. What it'll mean for our Festival Committee is they'll continue this enthusiasm the entire week and be more attentive in our all of events that are running through the week.
I know that these are long hours for you as GM of the Festival Committee, but it's an easy sell. I mean, you're selling ice cubes in Florida here.
Well, the amount of hours that I'm putting in are small compared to the contribution the volunteers are putting in. There's a contingent of 150 committee members plus another 1,100 volunteers who are really making this thing happen and really make it work for this year. And make Winnipeg proud to host the best Grey Cup ever.
And it will happen in Winnipeg leading up to November 24th. Don?
And there are many who really believe that Grey Cup excitement will be regenerated by the staging of the 1991 game in Winnipeg, the first time it has ever been held, of course, in the Manitoba capital.
Illegal block. Hamilton, number 25, first down.
Lee Knight was guilty of the illegal block. That takes the ball back to the 17-yard line. Winnipeg leading by a score of 41-6. McPherson couldn't find a receiver open. He's being pursued by Quincy Williams, who was among those who caught up with the Hamilton quarterback and stopped him after a gain of about 4 yards. Darrell Sampson also assisted in that tackle.
Now, Michael Gray's a little bit upset with himself because he thought he had McPherson trapped way back behind the line of scrimmage. But once again, we see the kind of mobility that a guy like McPherson brings into the game. He's done this time and again at Syracuse.
McPherson lost the football on the 2nd down play and managed to get it back. Jamie Morris recovering. McPherson had problems taking the snap from center. He lost the football. Jamie Morris was there to dive on the ball.
It looked like McPherson recovered the ball and gave it quickly to Jamie Morris. Said, I don't want this thing. This play's all messed up. You take it. Watch the ball go on the ground. McPherson picks it up. Well, he didn't pick it up. He tried to pick it up. Jamie Morris picked it up.
Osbaldiston stands in the end zone for this 3rd down punt. An end-over-end kick. It bounces to Burton Cummings at the 45. And Paul Bushy, who seems to be everywhere on special teams, is there to make the tackle for Hamilton. It will be 1st and 10 from the 46 Winnipeg. On the sidelines, let's bring in Scott.
Down at the Bomber bench, the home team is without a couple of starting players. Bob Molly will not come back to the game because he did dislocate his thumb and is in too much pain to play in the second half. And note this as well, starting slot back Rick House is out of the game. He jammed his neck late in the first half and will not return, so Rod Crefo moves into the starting role at slot back, Don.
Winnipeg forced to make some adjustments with their receivers. Larry Willis is going to throw the ball back to Burgess. And it was knocked away by Gary Wilkerson. A bit of razzle-dazzle by the Bombers. The handoff to Larry Willis, who attempted to throw it back to the quarterback, Tom Burgess.
Yeah, and Darryl Rogers is saying, see, I got some trick plays, and I'm going to show you one. Willis takes the football on a lateral, but Burgess comes all the way down the outside. But that ball is a fair catch. It's a duck. Shoot it.
2nd and 10 from the 46. Larry Willis looking for the throw. It is intercepted. Bobby Dawson makes the interception on Burgess's attempt to hit Larry Willis streaking down the sidelines, and the Ticats take over back at the 4-yard line with 8:52. The Ticats back at their own 4-yard line, 1st and 10. Morris the ball carrier, and he struggles out to about the 8. Michael Gray makes the tackle for Winnipeg. 27,127 watching the action today.
Well, Burgess is loose, isn't he? He's smiling. He's got the game under control. He's having some fun out there. And you know what? You know what's going on the other side of the line? McPherson is trying to learn this game.
Swinging it out, intended for Jamie Morris. He was wrapped up by Greg Battle, so the Ticats will be forced to kick it away again. And with 8:08 remaining in the 3rd quarter, Winnipeg will again have excellent field position.
Miles Gorell picks up Ty Jones coming to the inside. He says, boom, get out of the way. When you're as big as Miles, you can do that. Ty didn't like it at all.
Osbaldiston standing about 7 yards deep in the end zone. The ball bounces back towards the line of scrimmage, picked up and fumbled by Matt Pierce. Hamilton gets it back. Terry Wright was the man who pounced on the football for the Ticats, so Hamilton retains possession with 7:51 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Terry Wright responsible for the fumble recovery for the Ticats, as Matt Pierce couldn't handle the 3rd down punt. 1st and 10 Hamilton. They are at their own 42-yard line with Don McPherson out of Syracuse directing the attack, as he has done since the final minute of the opening quarter. Jamie Morris runs for almost 10 yards before being stopped by Quincy Williams.
Yeah, I think what McPherson did on that time, he made sure he got the handoff, and it was almost like a delayed draw. It wasn't supposed to be, but it worked pretty well.
The Ticats this year have really had problems scoring in the 3rd quarter. Only 28 of their league-low 332 points have been scored in the 3rd quarter. And this in contrast to last week, when they were inside Saskatchewan's 25-yard line 7 times and scored in all but one. They had 4 touchdowns, a field goal, and a single as the result of a wide field goal try. But they're playing a defense that is a little more difficult to score against today. Here's an interception by Bobby Evans. And he takes it out of bounds at the 34-yard line. Jason Riley forced Bobby Evans out of bounds as Winnipeg gets the ball back with 7:11 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
McPherson is in there, and he's learning what to do in a football game, and that's important because when you're practicing, things are slower. It's not really the same. He dropped back, and he knew where he was going to throw the ball. He had a good read. Didn't have much pressure, But hey, you can't hang the ball up there when the defense is in zone coverage.
First and 10, Winnipeg. The ball is at the 34. Robert Mims, the ball carrier. And Mims is stopped, but has a first down up at the 45-yard line. He seemed to stumble as he attempted to make the cut, and Wilkerson was there to make the tackle.
Now, McPherson's a young rookie quarterback. Watch what he does. He comes up to Michael Gray and just about knocks him over backwards. Well, sort of.
Hang on to his foot if you can't find anything else to grab.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Michael Gray didn't make the tackle.
First and 10. Burgess looking, can't find anybody, decides to run. He's got another Winnipeg first down into Hamilton territory at the 53-yard line.
Good coverage, and Burgess took advantage of it and just made something on his own. That's a good job on Jeff Fields. He can't get it. They're double teaming him, working him around. Van Conant.
Center Lyle Bauer making the initial contact with Jeff Fields, the big 6'3", 300-pound nose guard. And then he got some help from Dave Van Conant. Burgess throws to the sidelines. Larry Willis makes the catch, and he's caught by one leg by Ricky Royal. But the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have another first down at the Hamilton 40.
Good job of getting rid of the football. To get that ball to Willis, Burgess had to take a hit from Tim Lorenz. That's a leg hold trap.
5:15 remaining in the third quarter. Again, Jeff Fields is being double teamed and can't get any penetration. Penalty flag as Robert Mims carries the football. He was caught from behind by Brian Hilk and Moten.
Well, John Moten cut him down.
But it's offside against the Hamilton Ticats. So Winnipeg, I'm sure, will take the penalty, and we'll look at 1st and 5 from the Hamilton 35.
Offside. Hamilton number 42. First down repeated.
One of the reasons John Moten was able to get involved, obviously, the fact he was offside.
Maybe Brian Hilk, because both of them came in there pretty quick. Maybe they were both offsides. Two good young linebackers, Brian Hilk and John Moten.
Ticats have won 2 games since John Gregory took over on the Labor Day weekend, last week against Saskatchewan and in his first appearance against Toronto. Willis on the sidelines, out of bounds. He would not have been able to make the catch anyway. Ricky Royal was defending against him.
Joe Campbell had something to say about that play. He came in on Burgess. Burgess really doesn't have time to get the ball where he wants it, and Joe Campbell takes him down and puts his nose right into the turf.
Tom Burgess doesn't have a great arm. He seems to have a preference throwing to his inside receivers. But don't ever underestimate his throwing ability, because he reads defenses very well, and he can get the ball to the sidelines, as we have seen earlier in the game. Warren Hudson, the ball carrier, he'll be stopped short of the first down by a couple of yards. Bobby Dawson came up to make the tackle. 4:14 remaining in the third quarter.
I'm impressed with Tom Burgess running today. I mean, that is unusual for him to outrush. I would suggest that he probably has more yards rushing than Robert Mims does.
Troy Westwood, when asked about the turmoil in the Bomber dressing room this week, replied, "Don't ask me, I'm only a kicker."
A rookie kicker.
He'll be attempting a 39-yard field goal out of the hold of Bob Cameron. It's good. The Bombers now have 44 points. The Ticats 6 with 3:52 left in the third quarter.
Against the Rocket, and we all know what happened the last time they met.
That was when the Rocket was put out by what was called a late hit by Dan Wicklund. There have been some suggestions that the Toronto Argonauts would try and gain some revenge. Jamie Morris, the ball carrier, he is hurt when tackled by James West after a 3-yard return, a 48-yard kickoff.
58, James Wild West is coming down the field, and he knows that he's going to use some speed here. Watch him accelerate, and he catches him from behind. He caught his ankle underneath. But that West can run. I mean, this guy is one of the fastest linebackers in the league, and he's really active on special teams, not just...
Football this afternoon on the CBC television network. Hockey night in Canada tonight. Toronto here in Winnipeg to take on the Jets. Montreal at Philadelphia. Calgary at Vancouver. Check your local listings for the telecast in your area. Wally Zatilny was the intended receiver. McPherson was throwing into double coverage as the safety, Michael Allen, had moved over to help the cornerback, Rod Hill.
Those safeties love to play against young quarterbacks because they'll just stand back there and play center field, read their eyes, and then break to the ball, and that's what he did. He saw McPherson looking to that outside. He broke out with the ball.
Michael Allen moving into the safety position, replacing David Bovell, who was cut on Tuesday of this week, which started all the furor here in Winnipeg. And Tyrone Jones, one of the principals in the controversy, is credited with the quarterback sack, dropping Don McPherson. The third time that McPherson has been sacked.
Most people can't do what Ty Jones did here on Miles Burrell. He spun to the inside, then he fights back off of another blocker, and there he is. Taking the, that's backing it up with your actions. That's backing up your words.
Osbaldiston's kick off the side of his foot. It bounces back towards the line of scrimmage, and Burton Cummings takes it out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Mark Dennis forced him out of bounds. That is not the Burton Cummings who will be singing at the Grey Cup game. Burton Cummings will be singing the national anthem on November 24th here at Winnipeg Stadium. And that Burton Cummings would like to be playing as his namesake sings the national anthem.
And about 45,000, 50,000 people from Winnipeg would like to see him play.
Burgess under pressure, looking for Hudson over the middle, incomplete. Brian Hilk made the tackle.
That middle screen can look so dangerous sometimes. It looks like he was just throwing the ball to somebody on the defense, and that's not what Burgess was doing. But he got in trouble. Burgess was getting rushed, and the middle screen never had a chance to get set up, and that's what he was trying to do. But, hey, when you don't have time, Moulton was right in on him.
Mike Kerrigan is warming up at the Hamilton bench, an indication that Coach John Gregory is going to make another quarterbacking change. He started the game with Todd Dunn. Burgess throws for Grifo, and Perry Tuttle, and Tuttle's got it. I'm not sure whether that was initially intended for Grifo or Tuttle. Tuttle's first catch of the ball game results in a touchdown.
Well,
both were in the general area.
That was a face-off, I think, Don. He just threw it up and said, whichever one of you guys can get to the goalpost, you can jump up and catch the ball, because that's what happened. Just throw it to the goalpost and we'll find you there.
Well, Grifo and Tuttle were both there, and Tuttle made the catch in front of Wright. And now the point after by Troy Westwood. And it's a 51-6 Winnipeg lead over Hamilton. And that is a team record for Winnipeg in games against the Ticats. The previous high, 48 points registered by Winnipeg on September 15th, 1984. Tuttle, who has been out of the lineup since being injured on September 8th in a 49-41 overtime triumph against the Saskatchewan Roughriders, scores the touchdown, his first reception of the game.
And Robert Mims certainly helped on that play, because he picked up the blitz on Moulton, and Brian Hill came in. He boomed and knocked him down. That gave Burgess the time to put that ball right at the goalpost.
Westwood's kickoff taken by Mazzoli. Mazzoli bounces off a tackle, continues fighting along the sidelines. The Simon Fraser product is very difficult to bring down. A 36-yard return after a 56-yard kickoff. Andrew Thomas made the tackle.
Oh, I like to watch Mazzoli return kicks. I mean, he just shows determination. He's such a gritty guy. He's got great speed, though. You don't usually expect a guy with speed like that to be able to do it.
Mike Kerrigan takes over at quarterback for the Ticats. The ball at the 50-yard line. This hasn't been a great year for Kerrigan, who a couple of years ago was named the outstanding performer in the Grey Cup game. Hand off to Bushy, and Bushy will get just a couple of yards, tackled by James West. Bushy is in the ball game, replacing Jamie Morris. Sammy Garza warming up at the Winnipeg bench, and it appears almost certain that he'll go in the fourth quarter to take over from Tom Burgess.
James West is coming in, reads the play, and just makes a perfect tackle.
Kerrigan fumbles the exchange from center. Randolph dove for the football, but it appears as though Kerrigan got it back.
That's the biggest problem when you change quarterbacks. The center has to adjust to what the quarterback's doing, and watch the ball come up. It looks like it's in Kerrigan's hands, but that subtle change of what McPherson does when he's under the center and what Kerrigan does, that's tough for a center to adapt to.
Osbaldiston stands at his 35-yard line. Randolph tried to get through, almost got there. Matt Pierce fields it, a no yards call against Wally Zatilny. 1 minute exactly remaining in the third quarter.
I think Wally wants to argue he was inside of that circle.
Sammy Garza is going to enter the football game as the Winnipeg quarterback. Danny McManus started last week's game against the Toronto Argonauts, was replaced in the second half by Tom Burgess. Many thought that McManus would automatically be the backup to Burgess this week, but Sammy Garza is in a backup capacity and will take over with 1 minute remaining here in the
Illegal
third quarter.
block. Winnipeg number 25. First down.
Sammy Garza doesn't have great statistics. Here you see the push on Wally Zatilny as he was trying to get out of that 5-yard area, and that resulted in the penalty call against Kyle Hall. Garza's pass is too high for Perry Tuttle.
Well, Tom Burgess had a lot of yards rushing today, had a lot of success throwing that football, and I'm sure he's feeling good about the way things are going.
His touchdown toss to Perry Tuttle equaled his career high 25 touchdown passes of last season. He has also thrown 25 interceptions this year. Garza on second down. Throws over the middle for Tuttle, who makes the catch at the 37-yard line. That's a Winnipeg first down. Right end Wiseman making the tackle. 14 seconds the time left in the third quarter.
Good protection. Perry Tuttle makes his break in front of the zone coverage, and he got down in time. Wiseman hit his own man.
Burton Cummings comes wide left. Larry Willis to the right. First and 10 Winnipeg from the 37. Garza will run. And he's across the 46, a gain of about 8 yards on the final play of the third quarter. Winnipeg leads. To start the fourth quarter, Winnipeg is second down at its own 46-yard line, 2nd and 2, under the direction of quarterback Sammy Garza. He gives the ball to Robert Mims. Good hole. And Robert Mims carries all the way to the Hamilton 34-yard line. Forced out of bounds by Todd Wiseman. There's a penalty flag back at the line of scrimmage. A 29-yard gallop offside on the play against Hamilton declined.
Both the guard and tackle pull, and that's a lot of people out in front, and Mims does that better than anybody. He just likes to use those blockers and makes a good cut.
Robert Mims now has 108 rushing yards. He gets the ball again, and this time will be limited to about 3 yards. And Robert Mims has equaled a CFL record, the 10th time that he has carried for 100 yards. The record set by Willard Reeves in 1984 and Willie Burton of Calgary in 1975.
That announcement was just made and the fans love it.
Winnipeg offside. Garza throws to Willis, incomplete. And Willis should have caught that one.
Another flag down.
The 10th time, as I mentioned, that Robert Mims has run for 100 yards. Winnipeg's record will improve to 9-1 when Mims rushes for 100 yards.
Decline, third down.
Perry Tuttle was across the line of scrimmage prior to the ball being snapped. This year, there are already 4 1,000-yard rushers in the CFL. Mims, Barnes, Volpe, and Taylor. Damon Allen and Tracy Ham have a chance at becoming 1,000-yard rushers. And if they do, it would be the first time that 6 have ever carried for more than 1,000 yards along the ground. A 39-yard field goal by Troy Westwood increases Winnipeg's advantage to 54-6. The rushing statistics with Robert Mims now with 1,646 yards. The previous high for 1,000-yard rushers in a single season in the Canadian Football League was 5.
You know, Don, they say that this is a passing league, but look at all these guys that are doing so well rushing the football.
And the best of them all is that man, Robert Mims. Tony Champion on the receiving end of the Kerrigan throw, tackled by Hill after a gain of 5.
Maybe it's just a good offensive football league this year. We're getting a lot of offensive skill from nearly every team.
Teams are now using 5 and 6 receivers in their passing attack. That's what has caused so many problems for defensive units.
I think that has a lot to do with it. And then they slip the screen and draw in there. All of a sudden, there's big yardage.
Ken Avrere was the intended receiver. Kerrigan went down as he threw. Winnipeg trying to take Kerrigan out of his rhythm. Kerrigan, reading the defense, tried to hit Avrere quickly. He threw it just a little ahead of him.
You know, you hear all these coaches talking about we don't want to stop somebody. We just want to slow them down. We want to corral them, keep them from making the big yardage.
12:47 remaining in the fourth quarter. Burton Cummings raced up to field the football. There's a no yards call. Cummings may have touched that football before the Hamilton player came in. It was Bushy who made the tackle. 12:36 remains in the ball game.
Usually close to being struck on somebody's flight path, so I'm gonna get down now.
He's a pro.
First and 10, Winnipeg from the 48-yard line. Garza is being pursued. Throws the football for Willis. He's wide open. Which team had the turmoil this week?
Well, I'll tell you which team's going to have the turmoil when they watch these game films, because that was supposed to be a roll-up coverage again. Terry Wright just came off of his man. Here, look at Wilkerson. He's got the flat. He's got to stay short. Now watch Terry Wright. He stayed short too. Hey, wait a minute. That's a mistake. Larry Willis said, thank you very much.
An easy touchdown for Larry Willis as Westwood adds the point after. It's now 61-6, Winnipeg over Hamilton with 12:17 remaining. That's only the second touchdown reception of the year for Larry Willis, who has been on and off the Bomber roster during the course of the season.
Sammy Garza had to move around a little bit. That's a good throw on the run. He's running left, throwing right. It's not easy. Good throw. Willis wide open. Bad coverage.
Chris Walby blocking Vernon Maxwell, giving Garza time to throw the football. Maxwell did bring down the Winnipeg quarterback, but not before he had fired his first touchdown strike in his CFL career.
That would look like Walby didn't do a good job, but Walby anticipated a straight drop back. He didn't know Garza was going to run to the outside, so it wasn't really the fault of Walby. He was trying to push him back to the inside and give him good protection. If you don't know where your quarterback is, it's hard to block for him.
Troy Westwood getting set to kick off. Nick Mazzoli won't get a chance to return it as it goes out of bounds at the 26-yard line. Tomorrow we'll be at the Skydome in Toronto as the Argos entertain the Calgary Stampeders. Two other games of interest tomorrow: Ottawa at Saskatchewan, BC at Edmonton, and depending on the outcome, there could be a three-way tie for first place in the West.
Well, if BC has another overtime game, they will have played one whole extra game this year. They've already got 5 overtimes. That means 50 minutes. One more game makes an extra game.
It's been a lonely afternoon for John Gregory, the head coach of the Ticats. He was very confident coming into this game after the performance his team put on last week in beating Saskatchewan 42-21. Mazzoli on the kickoff return, breaks a couple of tackles, penalty flag on the play. Hauled down by Burton Cummings, but there was a flag back at the 30-yard line. So many times when Mazzoli has made a fine run back, this one of 39 yards, it has been negated by a penalty call.
Holding. Hamilton, number 85. First down.
Richard Nurse was guilty of holding.
You know, this was the first time John Gregory had 3 consecutive games with the same roster, the same lineup, and he felt good about it.
First and 10, back at the 25-yard line. Kerrigan throws for Brown. Very close to a first down. In fact, he should have it at the 35, tackled by Bobby Evans.
Kerrigan had to pay the price for that one. We're talking about Mike throwing on rhythm, and that's what teams try to do. They try to get up and jam the receivers and make Mike throw the ball, reload, and not throw the ball when he does that 3-step drop. He's very good at the short drop and throwing quick. Darrell Rogers knows that. They're trying to plug everything up. He's got Dave Ritchie, the defensive coach, is trying to get those receivers jammed.
First and 10, Jamie Morris back in the ball game. He'll be stopped after about 2 yards by Greg Battle and Ty Jones.
Now, when you say Greg Battle, you're talking about linebackers, and he looks like a linebacker. He reacts like a linebacker. He just came in there, fronted him up. Ty Jones looks like he's down on the legs. Greg Battle up on the chest.
Ticats only 4 of 18 on second down conversions, and their record will not improve on Kerrigan's throw intended for Champion with 10:52. The time remaining in the fourth quarter, Winnipeg leading 61-6.
I think Champion had some words to say there to Bobby Evans. He thought he cut him down at the legs right at the last minute, but they're friends now. They patted each other on the head.
Pierce waits for the punt back at his own 25-yard line. Another penalty flag, and it seems there's a penalty flag on every punt return.
It just doesn't taste the same without it.
10:33 remaining. The Blue Bombers have an opportunity to erase their team record for most points in one game from the books. They scored 65 against Ottawa in 1984. 1984, Winnipeg also went on to win the Grey Cup.
And it was also an outdoor game.
In Edmonton. and against the Hamilton Ticats. Only in the Grey Cup game of 1984, Hamilton, under the direction of Dieter Brock, exploded, directing the Blue Bombers to a Grey Cup triumph. John Gregory was an assistant coach with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in their Grey Cup win in '84.
I'm not sure you'll tell me that.
Robert Mims carries, and Mims lugs it out to the 27-yard line.
The thing that makes Mims so effective is his ability to see the hole. When he sees some place to go, he'll roll in and roll out. He uses his blockers extremely well, and he's always going forward, always going in a forward direction. He's got such a good body lean. As he takes the ball here, he sees the hole close up to the inside. Watch him make an outside move. Now he rolls back to the inside and gets extra yardage.
Mims carried for a season-high 29 times last week in the victory over the Toronto Argonauts. And as Coach Darrell Rogers said, Mims has to run the ball successfully for Winnipeg to win, and that is certainly reflected in the statistics. Brian Hilk is the injured Hamilton player heading to the bench. It's been a tough afternoon for the Ticats. 2 players ejected, a number of players shaken up.
I think the other thing that makes Mims so tough is his ability to get the same speed after that first step as he's going to have the rest of the way. He's not what you'd call a runner that accelerates, but a runner that finds the hole while he's running at full speed. There's Hilk from the University of Akron. He's a rookie. He's played well for the team this year. They're really happy with him. He's a good blitzer. Can rush the passer. He's done a nice job against the running game. Let's hope he's okay.
Hilk got hurt here as David Black appeared to roll onto his ankle as he was in pursuit of the ball carrier, Robert Mims. Bob Cameron's third down kick bounces back towards the line of scrimmage, and the Winnipeg player moved up and hit the football. It is loose. Wiseman goes back to pick it up. And Wiseman is stopped at the 40-yard line. But a Winnipeg player seemed to just simply come up and bat that bouncing ball out of the air before a Hamilton player could touch it.
Yeah, I don't
All
think he did it on
22 teams in the National Hockey League are in the technical crew. Will be moving across there as well to provide Hockey Night in Canada coverage on CBC television.
That ball hit Payton. He didn't do it on purpose, but that's a no yards call, and that's a big gain for Hamilton.
First and 10 from the 41-yard line. Battle was after Kerrigan from the backside. He still managed to get the pass away to Mazzoli for a first down. Bobby Evans and Les Brown came over to make the tackle on Mazzoli.
Boy, Winnipeg is still coming. Bushy saves Kerrigan. Battle's coming right from the back, and they're still blitzing every play. They're rushing the passer.
Bushy did a fine job of picking up Battle. Penalty flag on the play. The Winnipeg cornerback and linebacker moved too quickly that time.
I think both linebackers, Jones and West.
.8:24 is the time remaining.
Offside, Winnipeg number 35. Second down repeated.
Tyrone Jones was offside. It will be first and 5 from the 23-yard line. 8:19 is the time remaining. That pass bounced off the back of one of the offensive linemen as Kerrigan appeared to be looking for Zatilny.
Yeah, he wanted to throw it quick, but one of the linemen dropped back. And those linemen have to fire out. You can't stand up. Miles Gurrell, it hit him in the back. He's too big. He's got to get down low. Fire out. Cut down the legs. Then you got some room.
2nd and 5 from the 23. Champion on the receiving end of the throw, and he's pinned immediately by Rod Hill, short of a first down.
Pork rinds. What else you have? Some biscuits. Big 40. We're going to share them? Big 40. Oh, you going to have some?
I think Robbie's talking about what they're going to have at the post-game meal.
Biscuits and hog jaws tonight.
Biscuits and hog jaws.
Chitlins. Black eyed peas. We haven't had those since. Oh God, that's what the real problem was. They cut us off the black eyed peas. That's it. I told them.
I hope Nick Benjamin isn't the cook.
Jamie Morris on the 3rd down gamble. Dropped for a loss. Rod Hill came up to make the tackle at the 25-yard line as Winnipeg takes over, 1st and 10.
Ill-advised on Jamie Morris's part. He broke the play to the outside, and they just strung it out. Everybody did a good job of stringing it out, and Rod Hill came up and made the tackle. Oh, short yardage. You got to blow it up in there and make that first down. John Gregory was down on the ground himself. He took a tackle. He's really upset with that because they had a chance to score.
Ticats have turned the ball over 7 times. And when that statistic is posted, it almost always results in a loss. Crefo was the intended receiver. It was knocked down by Bobby Dawson.
Hello, Detroit.
That's the way they do it in Detroit.
Pete, and my best friend Flick.
They come up and make tackles. Rod Hill made a great tackle on that short yardage. That's a turnover, Rod. You did a good job.
2nd and 10. The ball is at the 24. Sammy Garza setting up the screen. Robert Mims will be close to a first down at the 34-yard line. Joe Campbell made the tackle. It's close enough to call for a measurement.
That middle screen looks so dangerous sometimes, but Sammy Garza stayed with it until Mims got open.
Lyle Bauer signals to the bench. They're about a foot away from the first down. And Darrell Rogers is going to stick with his offensive unit and go after it on 3rd down. 27,127 watching the action this afternoon at Winnipeg Stadium. And those fans who weren't in their seats early missed a lot of the excitement as Winnipeg had a 28-0 first quarter lead. Sammy Garza keeps. He'll get the first down. Sammy Garza played college football at Texas El Paso, and his wife Barbara is the daughter of Winnipeg Blue Bomber general manager Cal Murphy.
Well, there's another quarterback, a backup that got the snap from center, made sure he had the ball, and he was driving for some extra yards.
1st and 10. Garza faked the throw, and then is decked by John Moten at the 26-yard line.
There's another young linebacker from Hamilton that's played well, John Moten.
Ticats have been very happy with the play of John Moten.
Actually, they've got some good defensive people, some good young defensive players. You wouldn't know at this game because of the field position they found themselves in.
Moten, like Hilk, played at the University of Akron. Garza is in trouble. Gets away from Campbell. Now has some help. Maxwell is after him. Garza can't find anybody to throw to. Coming back to help out the quarterback is Les Brown. What's Les Brown doing out there in an offensive capacity?
Well, that's what the fans are saying. They love that. They love to see that. You know, there's not a lot of difference between a corner and a wide receiver. The skills are very similar, and Les Brown is in there to relieve some of the receivers. But the nice thing about this is he found his quarterback in trouble. Les Brown showed a lot of savvy. I guess he's faced scrambling quarterbacks. He knows what to do as a receiver. He came back to the quarterback.
Winnipeg 1st and 10 from the 48. Mims, the ball carrier. He'll pick up 2 yards. Joe Campbell made the tackle. Les Brown, who leads the Blue Bombers in interceptions because of the injuries and the disqualification of Eric Streeter. Moved in for the Bombers in a wide-out position and made a key reception.
Here's Brian Hill. He's got his ankle taped up or iced up. Those usually aren't real serious.
3:31 is the time remaining. Perry Tuttle on the receiving end of the Garza throw for another Winnipeg first down, taken out of bounds by Bobby Dawson at the 40.
Good timing play by Garza. He put that ball right where Tuttle needed it, outside, and then Tuttle made some yards afterwards, but he took a good hit, and he's still down.
Tuttle suffered broken ribs on September 8th against Saskatchewan. This is his first game back since that injury.
It's a nice job by Garza.
Tuttle makes the catch and provides Winnipeg with a first down with 3:08 remaining. Hilk is assisted to the Hamilton dressing room. Trainer Ray Jones with him. Winnipeg with a first down. Garza throwing for Willis. Incomplete. Bobby Dawson and Ricky Royal were back defending against the Winnipeg receiver with 2:58 left in the game.
Their locker room with a suspected broken leg, so obviously his day and then some is over for Brian Hilk. And on the Bomber bench, Perry Tuttle KO'd himself when he came down after that last reception. He'll take the rest of this game to shake off the cobwebs, and obviously Don will not return.
And Winnipeg can afford to have Perry Tuttle sitting on the bench, leading by 61-6 with only 2:58 remaining. And Les Brown is back into the ball game as a receiver.
Seem to be as many injuries today as there are points.
Brown lines up wide right.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Garza throws for Crefo. It's intercepted by Wright. Larry Willis forces him out of bounds and then throws him down unnecessarily roughly, and as a result there's a penalty flag, and I think we could. Penalties are.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, Winnipeg number 1, Hamilton number 92. Penalties balanced, Hamilton first down.
Well, no disqualifications. The penalties balance off, and it's 1st and 10 Hamilton from the 30-yard line.
Herman Maxwell came flying in there right at the end, and I think that's what caused the problem.
Kerrigan is intercepted by Rod Hill. Touchdown. A 35-yard interception return.
Well, he saw that one coming all the way. He was laying in the weeds, just hiding, hoping that that ball would be thrown on the quick out. And when it was thrown, Rod Hill had a tremendous break on it. He was breaking up. The only thing to stop him was the referee, and the referee got out of the way, so he got the touchdown.
Rod Hill last year on September 9th had 5 interceptions against the Hamilton Ticats to establish a league record. With the interception by Rod Hill, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers establish a team record for points in one game as Troy Westwood makes it 68-6, Winnipeg leading.
Well, we heard about Rod Hill, we heard about Ty Jones, and we heard about James West. They all look like football players to me.
In Detroit. Oh, yeah, and the Laws in Saskatchewan.
Rod Hill also holds the Winnipeg club record for most interceptions during a career. He now has 38.
He's a cagey guy. He'll wait back off the receiver until he reads that quarterback releasing the ball, and then he makes a break. And he was on a dead run when he caught that ball.
And it was Mike Kerrigan he had the success against last year when he made those 5 interceptions.
He's played in, what, 120 consecutive games, so Rod Hill's a wiry veteran.
Penalty flag on the kickoff. James West appeared to be offside. Wally Zatilny on the return brings it back to the 35. 2:22 is the time left. A 17-yard run back by Zatilny.
I don't think there's a penalty. There was no penalty. Oh, I'm sorry.
We understand some technical difficulties have been experienced. We apologize for the problems. 68-6 is the score as Lee Knight makes the catch and the Kerrigan throw very close to a first down.
James West in his drop reacted up, and then he missed the tackle, allowing Knight to make the first down. Or close to it. Second and about 2.
Bushy gets the first down. On September 20th last year, Toronto defeated Calgary 70-18. Calgary Stampeders, under the direction of Wally Buono, went back to Calgary, regrouped, and finished the year with a very strong performance. Knight on the receiving end of the Kerrigan throw. West made the tackle.
When the kicking game and the wide open offense really start to click, you can run up a lot of points on a team, and I think nearly every team in the league has had that experience against them at one time or another. They've given up a tremendous amount of points, and that's all you can do. Come back the next week, regroup, and get things going.
Calgary returned home after that humiliation and wound up finishing first in the Western Conference. The Stampeders have designs on finishing first again this year. In the West, they are currently tied with Edmonton for the top spot. They play Toronto tomorrow at the Sky Dome, and we'll have that game for you on CBC television beginning at 1 o'clock Eastern Time.
Kerrigan looks like he's struggling when he gets the ball out to the sidelines. Either side of the field, that ball just doesn't seem to have the zip that it used to have when Mike was throwing back a couple of years ago so successfully on those quick outs. His balls are dropping down into the dirt.
1:09 is the time remaining. Ticats have not been able to put it in the end zone this afternoon. Kerrigan keeps on third down, and he should have a first down.
Well, I'm sure Darryl Rogers has got that week behind him, and he's feeling a lot better right now. John Gregory, he's got a few more ball games, and you know John Gregory is a good coach, and he's going to end up spoiling somebody's drive for a playoff berth or for at least a home spot in the playoffs.
Well, they eliminated Saskatchewan last week with a 42-21 win at Iverwin Stadium. Gregory is hoping his team could really play the role of spoiler over the final 3 weeks of the season. They're at home next week to Toronto, and they wind up the season by traveling to Vancouver to take on the Lions. Richard Nurse with a first down to the 30-yard line with 46 seconds left to play. Les Brown made the tackle.
But the Ticats always play tough against Toronto.
Ticats' first victory of the year occurred on September 2nd in John Gregory's first game as Hamilton coach over the Toronto Argonauts. Kerrigan for Knight. Touchdown. Greg Battle was defending. Lee Knight got behind him. And Mike Kerrigan hit him with the touchdown toss. That comes with just 26 seconds remaining in the game.
That was a well-timed throw as a post-corner pattern. Lee Knight had the one-on-one coverage, and he beat Greg Battle to the outside. Nice delivery by Kerrigan. When you get that back coming out of the backfield, the linebacker has to cover him, and Lee Knight is, in essence, a receiver playing in the backfield.
And the Ticats will go after the two-point conversion. Lee Knight scores Hamilton's lone touchdown of the football game. Conversion pass is complete to Paul Bushy, a two-point convert.
Paul Bushy almost hit the goalpost. He showed some good peripheral vision. He slowed it down just in time to miss the goalpost.
68-14 with 26 seconds remaining. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers, with this win, moving within 2 points of the Toronto Argonauts. The Argonauts at home tomorrow against the Calgary Stampeders. And a win for the Argos will wrap up first place. However, if the Argos lose, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers still have a shot at first place. This victory for Winnipeg will move them 6 points ahead of the Ottawa Rough Riders and all but wraps up second place in the East. But Coach Darryl Rogers said earlier, we still have designs on a first place finish, and we'll keep trying to finish first until that mathematical possibility no longer exists.
Well, Calgary might have something to say about it tomorrow in Toronto. Calgary would like to keep their hold on first place.
Short kickoff attempt fielded by Bobby Evans. And Evans is forced out of bounds at the 48, and there are more penalty flags, more pushing it.
And Quincy Williams was telling them both what was going to happen, wasn't he?
He was indeed. Lance Trumbull and Greg Battle with the offsetting penalties. Handoff to Warren Hudson, and there's another penalty flag. 19 seconds remaining. Well, it appears as though that penalty flag was dropped, not thrown, because there is no call. And this should be the final play of the football game. Sammy Garza simply drops to one knee, and a long afternoon mercifully comes to an end for the Hamilton Ticats.